As a GEPF member, I'm sure you have heard all the horror stories about resigning. Stories about members losing hundreds of thousands in tax and market losses, or even having to return to work because their money had run out. It's time to discover the truth about what resignation really has to offer when it is done right. Now, I'm Devon Naika, and I'm a GEPF resignation specialist with a proven track record of success. In this video, I'll be sharing with you the secrets to a perfect GEPF resignation and show you how to secure a path for your financial future. Now, you might have already seen testimonials and case studies on my YouTube channel of members who share their success stories. Now it's your turn to unlock the potential of a well-planned resignation. Let me ask you, do you want to save up to 100% of tax on resignation? Are you looking for ways in which you can grow and protect your capital from the markets? Do you want to find how you can leave a lasting legacy, not just for your kids, but also for your grandkids? And are you interested in learning medical aid secrets that can benefit you after your resignation? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, then this video is for you. I'll be covering tax tips, investment secrets, medical aid secrets, legacy planning secrets, as well as how you can keep your fees to an absolute bare minimum, all tailored to GEPF members like you. By the end of this video, you will have the knowledge and confidence to make an informed decision about your resignation and take control of your financial future. Now, don't miss this opportunity to learn from myself. Watch the video now and start your journey towards financial abundance and peace of mind that resignation can offer. If you find this video helpful and you want to explore how my tailored solutions can help you with your resignation and help you to resign with confidence, email me to book your private consult. I'm here to guide you every step of the way toward a brighter future. Now let's get started with today's video. What I want to start sharing with you is the main thing that's probably going through your mind is, will it be enough, right? Will your money last? That's probably the main thing that's running through your mind. And in order to analyze it, in order to know whether this is going to be enough, you have to start to look at what are the things that could happen that could result in you running out of money. Let's go have a look at some of them. You could end up paying a significant amount in tax, right? You could end up with bad investing. So you could lose money in the markets, right? You could end up not getting good advice. So bad advice. And the bad advice then leads to poor decisions. Maybe you might not have the right medical aid. And this could also impact what's taking place, right? You could end up having to pay high fees. See, you could end up taking too much of income. So if you're taking too much of income, you put the entire system into pressure, right? Under pressure. So there's all sorts of things that could take place, which could lead to you running out of money, right? And this is what your concern is. Will you have enough? The way to address the concern is simple. You merely tackle each one of these steps head on. But here's the secret, right? You see, at this point in time, this is where you are now, not yet having resigned, right? And I'm saying X is the time that you are planning on resigning. The key here is you want to tackle each of these elements, all these areas here that could result in you running out of money. You want to start tackling them now, see, inside of this period here, because that's the only opportunity you have, right? The problem or the mistakes that a lot of members make is they end up starting their resignation planning too late. So if you start your resignation planning here, it leaves you with very little time. And this is where it can be overwhelming. So ideally, you want to allow yourself about 3 years. It's an optimal time. But if you don't have that, then you want to get started as soon as possible, right? And again, this video starts to unlock what can take place if you get your resignation to be planned perfectly. Now, let's first look at the tax, because I know this is probably something that's weighing on your mind, right? There's so much around resignation that could go wrong, so much from a tax perspective. Let's understand the flow of money, and then I'm going to teach you how you can get your tax to be actually zero, right? You can save up to 100%. So the flow of money is going to happen like this. Currently, your funds are sitting with GEPF. You could opt to take this out in cash, right? If you're going to do that, this is when you're going to have a tax consequence, right? The way to save on tax is very simple, as I've shared in previous videos. You want to make sure that you move this money into an approved fund, right? Now, again, you want to make sure that you're using the right approved fund here. But the moment that you do this, this is immediately a tax saving for you. See, there's no tax here because the money is moving to the insurance company. You save a fortune in tax, right? Then the next step is you are entitled to take 1/3 out in cash. So this is the 1/3. But the key words here is it's up to. It's up to, right? So if you get the planning done right, and I don't think I'm crazy, but I like to plan this thing right down to the last cent, right? So I want to make sure everything is perfect. So if you plan this thing right, you can actually structure this so you do not lose a cent, right? You can get that guidance in advance before you withdraw any of this, so that you know money that you're taking out is going to be completely tax-free, right? This is all part of your pre-planning phase. So this again saves you a fortune in tax here when it's done right. Remember, you don't have to know all of this. You just need to know that the advisor or the specialist that you're using is aware of this, they know how to do this, and then you're on track, right? The next thing is money is then shifted. This is the 2/3 portion here. Now, what you want to be mindful of on the 2/3 portion, I'll cover it just now, there's different options in terms of how you can earn the income, right? You want to analyze those options very carefully. But notice from a tax perspective, when you're transferring the money here, because it's all getting to an insurance company, right? All of it's moving, that entire 2/3, there's no tax that's there. Where does the tax come in? You see, you've got to earn an income from here, right? When you invest that 2/3, you have to earn an income. And this is where tax comes into play. See? So notice the entire flow of money, right? You're moving to an approved fund, there's no tax. In terms of your 1/3, it's up to 1/3, so you can adjust this so that you're paying no tax. The 2/3 that's coming through, all of it is not going to be taxed, right? The income that's coming through, that's going to be taxed. But what if there are ways in which you can save on that tax? See, now again, I'll go through that in detail with you when I'm going through a one-on-one consult, and I'll show you exactly how to plan this thing so that you get the tax to be the absolute bare minimum if you have to, or I'll show you strategies where you get it to actually be zero. So that covers the tax aspect. The next is from an investment perspective, right? Now, the mistake that happens here and what you want to avoid, right, is you might be sitting with a certain million. I'm going to use an example. Let's say you have 6 million that's sitting inside of your GEPF benefit, right? 6 million. Now, if you're going to do an investment with 6 million Rand without having had any experience, see, no experience of investing, this is where it's going to be a big mistake, right? And this is where it can feel like a gamble, see, because now you're exposing your money to the market. The fix here is really easy. This is what I've been helping members with is, as I mentioned with you earlier, now is where you are, X is where you want to resign, right? So X is where the 6 million Rand comes into play, right? Or your resignation value. So the secret is easy. You want to do some type of investing now, right? Maybe you've got a retirement annuity, maybe you've got a certain amount that you've got saved in a bank account, or you want to put some amount of money into an investment now. And the reason you're doing that is you want to test, right? Let me use an example to make it easy. Let's assume you have a retirement annuity and your retirement annuity is 500,000, right? So you want to engage. Assuming you're engaging with me, I'm having a look at the retirement annuity, trying to see what's taking place. Is this money secure? What do we need to do in order to have the best return of that retirement annuity, right? So let's say I put you into a structure now. I'm showing you how to grow that capital. So two things are happening. One, if I'm growing the capital, I'm now taking away your fear of investing of the markets. You agree? Because I'm showing you how the retirement annuity is growing, especially if I'm doing the reviews of this on a regular basis. The second thing that I'm doing is I'm putting you in an even stronger position. Because your money is growing at the time that you actually get to resignation age, right? You've got more money now than what you had when you started. So this again puts you in a much stronger position. It propels you, right, for success. And it also then can eliminate the risk or that fear that you have about investing being a gamble. The next thing is in terms of medical aid. Now, really here, if you analyze this carefully, what you're actually losing out is a subsidy, right? You're losing out on the subsidy because GEPF is no longer going to subsidize it because you're aiming at resigning. You want to calculate exactly how much that subsidy is. And you want to go to the open market to see. Now, from an options perspective, right, you're limited with options with POMED as well as with GEMS, right? Whereas in the private scheme, there are over 100 different options because each medical aid will have a range of options that are available. So you want to look at that, right? You'll see there's so many more options. And because there's more options, it means the chances of you finding something that's suitable for you specifically is greater. You also are not going to pay extra, right? So no extra payments here. And I'm saying this with an extra. This is especially true if you've been on medical aid for a long time, right? So medical aid companies are not life cover companies. They're not going to do medical tests or anything like that. They can charge you extra, right? But they're only going to charge you extra if you cannot prove that you've been on medical aid before. So if you've been on medical aid for a long time, there's no reason for them to charge you extra. In addition to that, your chronic medication can be covered. It can be covered. It's just a matter of setting this up properly in the beginning. Again, this is why I say you want to start the planning early, right? So you can test this out. You can get medical aid options, do the work, spend a good 2-3 months working on a proper medical aid, doing your homework, right? Before you actually commit yourself into something. Yeah. So medical aid is an easy fix, again, if the planning is done properly in the beginning, right? And you get to know the stuff in advance. In terms of leaving a legacy, right? Now, you're planning ideally, maybe you're not really focused on a legacy, or maybe you are, but the first goal here is to make sure that you have enough, right? That's the first goal. So as long as you have enough, and basically the goal that I'm trying to get you to think about, or how I assist members is, see, you never want to run out. Now, if you never run out of money, it means that you always are going to have money, right? It's going to be there even when you're not around, which means this pool has to be protected. If it's not protected, you're going to lose a fortune here to tax. So this is why the legacy planning is critically important to be done in the beginning so that you understand that framework, right? Again, all of this must be done in advance, right? What does the ultimate situation look like? Now, I've helped a few members create the ultimate solution. I call these members diamonds, right? The reason for this is it's extremely, extremely rare. You may or may not know this, but there's only 6% of South Africans who get to a point that they can actually retire and live comfortably. But even fewer get to this stage, right? Now, you could have a situation here. This is your resignation value, right? That sits here. Let's just say this is the 2/3, right? This is the 2/3 value. Now, the ultimate situation is you want to get a return that's coming in here. And the return that's coming in is more than the income that's coming out, right? And I'll use an example just now. There's the income that's coming out, right? And I also want to speak to you in terms of costs, right? Because remember, the insurance company is going to have their fees, right? Now, here's the thing. We'll go through each of the legs, right? So notice there's 3 legs here. I've got a return leg, an income leg, a fees leg, and also this, right? Just think of this as a table, okay? This is the table. Now, the way to structure this thing correctly, the ultimate resignation, you want to make sure you have the correct amount that's here, right? That pool of capital needs to be the correct amount. How do you do that? You do that by making sure you're not paying a lot in tax. Your investments are all pooled together. Again, it's the grounding that happens in the beginning. Then you want to make sure you're taking the optimal income. Remember, if you take too much of income, you're going to pay a lot in tax. You take too little, you then have a situation where you don't have enough to get by through the month. So you want to get to what I call the optimal income. Now, I'll use an example here, again, just to make the math look easy, because I want you to get the framework done right, okay? Let's just say your income from here is 40,000. Next, you want to have a look at what's taking place from a return perspective, right? You want to get your returns to a point where the returns are higher, not just than your income, but the returns are higher than the fees, right? Now, I'm going to use an example again for the fees, okay? Just to put this into perspective, because I want you to see something, right? See, the fees only become a concern if your capital is not growing. I'll say it again. The fees only become a concern if this capital is not growing, because then you're going to question the value, right? If your capital is reducing, you're going to ask, hey, why am I paying these fees if my money is reducing? But if the work is done correctly, especially if you're getting the right advice, right, it should pay for itself. Meaning whatever fees have to come off, it's okay, provided capital is growing. So notice in my example, 50,000 is coming in from a return perspective, 45,000 is coming out from a fee perspective, right? Which means money is still getting left behind here. There's an extra 5,000. So the ultimate case is putting yourself in that perspective. I've had members where they started with a resignation value, and after a few years, the resignation value has shot up. I've got cases where members have R1 million more than when they started off, right? Now, again, this is all where you get the planning done correctly. It's what I refer to as the ultimate resignation. It's where you cross the T's, dot the I's, you make sure everything is working in the best possible way, right? Now, if you found the video helpful, please comment below and share with me, what are your thoughts now in terms of resignation? Does this shift your perspective? Does it help you to see resignation from a different light, right? Bearing in mind, one more key factor is that resignation here, when it's done well, allows you control, right? Because you can adjust your income. You can change your income every single year. It's a feature that you would not get if you were aiming at retiring. So again, does this enhance your offering of resignation, right? Does it help you to think differently about it? Comment below to let me know what you think about it. Also, if there's any elements that you feel I haven't covered, comment below so that I'm aware of it. If you found the video helpful, give me a thumbs up so I know I'm giving you the type of content that you're looking for. And as a favor, I feel the GEPF community must come together. So if you know of other members who need assistance, especially around resignation, because there's so much of rumors, right? Many members believe a lot of negative things around it. Share this video with them. It's a free video, but it allows them to gain access to information and just perhaps put them in a position where they can really make a positive difference in their life. Good. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.